we are over budget. We're totally over budget for August. August is a hard month for our family for many different reasons. I'm going to dive into it, but I think one of the easiest ways to learn how to budget and actually figure out how to write a budget that fits your life is to see budgeting in action. So I'm pulling back the curtain and sharing our August 2026 real life budget for our family of 4. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allison, and my goal is to help make budgeting easy so that you can pay off debt, save money, and invest in your future. I'm going to walk you through our exact budget. We're going to talk about every single expense. Let's get into it. This is the Budget My Paycheck spreadsheet. It is a spreadsheet that I built personally. I honestly used to handwrite my budget for about 12 years, and the last 2 to 3 years, I have been using exclusively this spreadsheet. I absolutely love it. It's a wonderful way for me to very easily compare what I said I was going to spend to what I actually spent. So I'm going to walk you through how I use it with my real numbers. Here we go. The very first thing that I recommend you do is you choose your start date and your end date for your budget. I recommend budgeting per paycheck. And so that means that the day we are paid starts a new budget for us, and it will end the day before we are paid again. I do have another video all about that where I really go into detail, but for this video, I'm just giving you a really quick monthly overview of our expenses so you can see where our money is going in August and why it is honestly the most stressful month for our family personally when it comes to finances, worse than Christmas, December, all of that. And I'm going to be talking about what changes we're making so that way next year, maybe it's not so bad. So for our dates here, I'm putting August 1st through the 31st. Then you will see down here, we have a cash flow summary section. All of this is updated automatically except for where I put in my rollover. So if I have money left over in my checking account, I put it here because I need to account for that money as well in my budget. So let's pretend, we'll just pretend that I'm going to have $100 left over. I don't even need to put actual in my checking account the day we are paid. But you can do this. I fill this out every single time and we'll just pretend I have $100 left. Anything that is shaded will automatically populate on its own. So let's scroll down to the income section. For our income summary, my husband, he is a teacher. He's an elementary music teacher. He's been teaching for, oh my goodness, I think like 19 years. And the amount of money that hits our account from his paycheck every single month is $4,211.34. This will change in September. It'll go up about $65. But for now, this is what it's going to be. This is how much he makes after paying for our family's health insurance, including me, a spouse who I cost a lot of money. Spouses cost a lot of money for health insurance. We also max out our family's HSA. So a lot of money is going into our HSA, and this is what is left over when he is paid. Then for me, I own my own business, but I am a W-2 employee of my business, and my paycheck comes out to $3,699.59. But because I am a W-2 employee and I'm also the founder, I can pull what is called an owner's draw. So every month, I also pull an owner's draw of $2,500. Now, this is standard for us. This is how much we usually budget off of every single month. And this month it's coming out to, you can see right here, $10,510.93. Not bad at all. This is amazing. Like past Allison could never imagine making this much money every single month. And yet we're not going to have enough this month in August. And so let's talk about why. The very first thing I do is I go over to my fixed expenses and I fill those out. I'm going to fill out the budget column right here. And as I'm tracking my expenses in my log tab and my transactions log tab during the month of August, the actual column right here will basically auto-populate on its own. So it'll be really easy for me to see how much I budgeted to spend versus how much I actually spent. Now, these fixed expenses are the ones that stay the same every single month. They usually do not catch us by surprise. Those are the variable expenses, the ones that we tend to go overboard. So let's talk about our fixed expenses. Our mortgage payment is $1,800 a month. That is just for our principal and interest. Back in March, we got rid of escrow because we own enough of our house. And instead, Instead, we set aside $1,000 a month for taxes and insurance in a high yield savings account. This allows us to actually earn money on that savings. And then whenever our home insurance is due and whenever our property taxes are due, we pull the money out of that high yield savings and we can pay those bills instead of it going into an escrow account and escrow taking care of that for us. So this is something we have to account for. If it was all bundled together, our mortgage would be about $2,800 a month. So I actually talked about this change in my last video. I'll link to it up here, a card up here somewhere. And it's about our mid-year check-in and some of the changes that we made in our budget, which we are reflecting in this budget. Our internet is $49. Netflix is $21.64. We give $500 to our church every single month. That is just on an automatic giving situation. It just automatically charges to my credit card and then I pay our credit card off. So $500 goes to giving every single month. And our cell phones are $95. I'm not actually 100% sure about this. It might be $105. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it as $105 because we just added my youngest son onto our cell phone plan. We use Visible, which is so much cheaper than Verizon. We used Verizon before and our bill was crazy expensive. So now that we use Visible, it's a lot cheaper. We own our phones outright, which also helps, but just the service is a lot cheaper. And I highly recommend them. They actually have a coverage map where you can look at your area and see what coverage they have. But we have had them for, oh my goodness, maybe 2 to 3 years now, 2 years. It's been amazing, wonderful experience. So I'll link down below to Visible as well. I'll put a link that basically if you decide to sign up, you get some, maybe like a free month. And then I think I get a free month. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll link down to it. And you can always ask me your questions about Visible down in the comments because it's something I use, I pay for. It's not sponsored. We just enjoy not having to pay an arm and a leg for 4 cell phones. So that's Visible. Security for our house is $33.62. That's our home alarm system. My husband does want to change this out and not use the same alarm company. He wants to do something different, but maybe that'll change whenever he does that, but it hasn't happened yet. Apple TV is $14.06. Petco Vital Care is $19.99. This is a subscription service that we've had for probably about 5 years. It gives us different discounts at Petco. That's where we take our dog to get groomed. We've had a wonderful experience with one of the groomers there. And then it's also where we buy food and supplies and things like that. Hulu and Disney Plus is expensive. It's $42.21. Apple charges, these are things like storage, I don't know, some random stuff. I put $20 in there every month. I don't think it comes out to $20, but there it is. Life insurance, my husband and I both have term life insurance. I highly recommend if you are a family, if you have people depending on you, please get term life insurance. The earlier, the better. We got this term life insurance whenever I think I was 24 years old and my husband was 27, and it is $70.85 a month for both of us. And back then the coverage we chose was $500,000 each. So it's very relatively inexpensive. And essentially, if one of us passes away unexpectedly or something happens, if one of us dies, we will get a $500 life insurance policy. We've even had entire conversations on if that happens, what we are going to do with that money. Number one, pay off the house to lessen just the expenses we have. And then the second thing is to put our kids in therapy and just set aside some of the money for college, things like that. So my husband and I have actually had those conversations. And then finally, car insurance, which is $181.16. So you'll see as I've added these up here, the fixed expenses in cash flow summary was auto-populating. So our fixed expenses come out to a total of $3,857.33. None of these are going to change. We're not going to accidentally overspend on our home security or our Netflix, right? None of these are going to catch us off guard. What will catch us off guard and what will throw a wrench in things, if you will, with our spending is our variable expenses. So let's look at those now. I have our variable expenses listed here, and I already looked at different bills that are coming in to try to get this as accurate as possible. I am filming this on July 18th. So some of the information might not be 100% accurate because the bills haven't come in, but it's very close. Our electricity bill for this month is going to be $380.11. Ooh, that's not correct. $380.11. It is slowly creeping up. I mean, having a home that is, I think it's 25 or maybe 27 years old. We don't have the best insulation. We live in an older home. I guess I could say older compared to the area we are in. And we live outside of Houston, Texas. It is hot. This number is only going to go up and up. So it is what it is. Thankfully, in the winter times, this number is usually under like $150. But electricity, $380.11. Water and trash, I have to estimate this based off of last month's bill. So I'm putting $115 because I don't exactly know the number yet. They haven't let us know that. Gas for our home is also an estimation, $40. I think it'll probably be around $35. But anytime I don't know the amount just yet, I like to estimate just a little bit higher than I think it's going to be. So $40 for gas for our home. Let's talk about groceries. Groceries are so expensive. We have a family with 2 growing boys. One of my sons is 14 years old and the other one is about to turn 12. They eat a lot of food and we like to find a balance between having junk food and snacks on hand and feeding them healthy meals, like full meals. So our grocery budget has been pretty heavy. I feel like it has been compared to what it was in the past. Here's how we personally figure out groceries. I'm not someone, and my husband also is not someone who wants to go to the grocery store every single day to pick up food. We like to go one time a week. On the weekend, one time. And we try to get everything we need for the week. We meal plan. We look at the sales page, the ads to see what meats are on sale. We base our meal plan around what's on sale. And so when I am sitting down to write my budget, instead of saying, okay, every month we spend $1,000 on groceries or $1,200 on groceries, I instead look at how many weekends there are in the month because I know we go to the grocery store on the weekend. So when I pull up my phone calendar, I can see how many Saturdays there are essentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Saturdays. And so we spend usually between $200 to maybe like $250, $275. So I'm going to budget $250 for 5 trips to the grocery store, which comes out to $1,250 for groceries. That gives us a little bit of wiggle room. And what's wonderful is as I'm logging my expenses, a number will pop up here and I'll actually be able to see how much we are spending. That way I know if we're going overboard or not. Restaurants. We do like to pick up convenience food, things like Chick-fil-A, pizza, stuff like that. Usually once a week, my husband buys donuts every single Saturday. He's been doing it since my oldest son was 1 year old. We have this tradition. So for restaurants, we're going to budget $400 for the month. This is typically the line item that we either blow past and then have to sit down and have a talk with ourselves and say, you have food at home, stick to the meal plan. But what's great is that, like I said, this number in the actual column will auto-populate as we are filling out our transactions log. So it's really easy for me to see how close we are getting to this number and when we need to pull back. Gas for our car. I work from home, which is wonderful. My husband works 4 miles away from work. He doesn't even have to get on a freeway at all. So he works 4 miles away from home. And so we don't spend a lot of money on gas. So I'm going to put $200 for the entire month. That will honestly probably be too much. And I'm super thankful that gas is inexpensive for us. Okay, down to personal spending money. I usually don't fill this out. This is if we are going to be doing something fun as a family. Like in the summertime, I took my youngest son to an escape room while my oldest son was away at camp. So we'll add in things like that. But honestly, with getting back into school, we're not going to have a lot of time to be doing all of these like out and about things. So I'm going to leave this blank. Same for health. When it comes to shopping, this is what I like to call my like Amazon and Target budget. So when we buy things on Amazon, whether it's more batteries or cleaning supplies, just things like that, I just track it as shopping. So I'm giving myself $200 $200 for the month. I would love to give myself more, but realistically, that's not going to happen because of what I'm about to show you. Clothing. Okay, clothing. I probably really should put about $200 or maybe $100. No, we're going to put $200 and see what happens here with clothing because we are going to need to buy some back to school clothes. Now, I've already done some back to school shopping and I have $300 in cash pulled out for other back to school purchases. So honestly, you know what? I know I need to get both of my kids shoes, new shoes, which shoes are like $100 now. So that's $200. I have $300 in cash. Both of my kids, I am done buying clothing for them. Like we have already purchased the clothing for the back to school year, except for jeans because we live in Houston and it's hot. And my theory is I try to wait until it's cooler to buy jeans because my kids grow so fast that if I buy jeans now in July, August, I'm afraid by the time they need them in November, they're not going to fit. They'll be too short. But I think my oldest might need jeans. Actually, you know what? I don't think I need anything in clothing. We have backpacks, we have school supplies, we have everything. And we have $300 sitting there in cash. So I'm going to leave it blank, which is good. Okay, car wash. We spend $46 a month for a car wash membership. Some people might find this crazy. It's something we value and we enjoy. It really, really is. It's one for each of our vehicles. My husband takes our cars every single weekend and washes them inside and out. He loves it. I love it. If something were to happen and we needed to pull back continuously, this would be the first thing that would go. Kids allowance. Okay, I have $120 in our kids allowance. We pay our kids $10 every single week. And then when they help out with mowing the lawn, which is typically every single week, we pay them another $10. So this actually probably needs to be more than $120. Let's see, $40 per kid plus this needs to be $160 because if each kid gets $10 a week for just their regular chores around the house and then they help mow the lawn and landscape, they get another $10. But if they don't help, they don't get it. So like my oldest son right now is away at a friend's house for a birthday party sleepover kind of away trip. He's not helping mow the lawn today. I'm recording this on a Saturday. And so he won't get that extra $10. So ideally, each of them will get $80 a month between helping mow the lawn and their regular chores. So we'll put $160 there. Kids, clothing, and supplies. Okay, I'm not putting anything here. This is actually where I should have put like back to school stuff. Kids tutoring. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about it. We used to have a tutor that came every week and I paid them if they came when we needed it. But last year I put my son into a group tutoring and it was amazing. The good news is per semester, I want to say it was like $440 and you pay once in August and it covers the entire semester and they go as a group every single week and it was fabulous for math. So now that my youngest son is going into 6th grade, we're going to be putting that in as well. So both of them will have tutoring. I will pay it once in August and it will last through the semester and then I'll pay again in December. It ends up coming out to like, it's not super expensive per session and they get to go with friends. So I'm actually going to budget $1,000 for tutoring, $500 for each kid. I think that might be too much. I think it might be more like $900, but I'm putting $1,000 until I know for sure. So this is one of the reasons why our budget is crazy this month is normally this is empty. We don't normally send $1,000 a month or anything like that to tutoring. This is going to be a cost that we have in August and a cost that we have in January. And here's another reason, gifts. My youngest son turns 12 in August. So we have to buy him his presents, do his birthday party, all of that. So I'm going to budget $500 for gifts. This budget really shows you how expensive kids are. Okay, it really does. It shows you how expensive kids are. Let's move on. Hair care. Okay, my husband and my youngest son will need a haircut. So that's going to be, oh no, you know what? Yes, that'll be $80. They just go to Sport Clips, but that'll be $80. And then I cut my older son's curly hair as needed. Our housekeeper, we have 2 amazing housekeepers that come every other week and we pay them $120 every time they come. So $240 for our housekeepers. And then we do go to Costco about once a month. We don't go overboard. And I think last time my husband only spent $120. So we get these like staples at Costco and that's it. So I'm going to budget $200 for Costco, but honestly, we probably would spend around I'm going to put it to $150 because we don't usually ever spend $200. Okay, moving on to household. I'm keeping this blank. This is usually whenever we are doing projects around the house and we need to budget for some like project supplies. So I'm going to keep that blank. Going down to pets. Okay, I'm putting $200 for pets because my dog will need a grooming at Petco, and then we'll probably need to buy him some more food. I think we're good on cat food for now. So oops, I put that in the wrong one. $200 for pets. And then I always like to include a buffer. This is just something that if we go over on our groceries, or if my kid gets invited to a birthday party and we need to buy a gift, things like that, it just gives me a little bit of breathing room in my budget. So I'm going to put $200. Now, this is another kid one, other. This other, I just have it here in case I have just kind of these one-off expenses. I could put this in, wait a minute, I did something wrong. Sorry about that. Kids activities. That is going to be $300. Okay, this is for piano and guitar lessons. In my last video, my budget check-in, I talked about my mid-year check-in. I talked about how this actually needed to be $600. However, with back to school and just time constraints, we're gonna start doing lessons every other week for each kid. So $300. Now this is adding up correctly. Okay, then we have $1,000 for tutoring, $500 for birthday gifts for my son and party and all of that, $80 for haircuts for my son and my husband, $240 for housekeeper, $150 for Costco, $200 for pets, $200 for buffer, and then other. Now, my oldest son is going into high school band, and we have our very first ever experience with band dues. We don't know the amount yet that we're going to owe. We were given an estimate. We were given kind of a range because it all depends on fundraising and stuff like that. But I know that on August 8th, it's called Money Day, I think. I don't know. Anyway, in August, we're going to have our band dues. We were told that high school band for incoming freshmen will cost anywhere, and I'm interested if any parents have kids in band, high school band, please let me know what you're paying. We were told it's going to cost anywhere from $1,200 to like $1,700. That's going to cover their like transportation, meals, I think, at football games, just all the things. Uniform. We do have to buy other things since we're first time, like certain t-shirts and shorts and stuff like that. This is not an instrument. This does not cover an instrument. We just paid 2 months ago $4,000 for a new saxophone for my son. So this is not instrument at all. This is literally just to participate in high school marching band. So they gave us this range of $1,200 to $1,700. So I'm deciding to put down $1,500 for now. So that is going under other. Do you see now why we're over budget? Okay, because when I scroll back, let me scroll back to our cash flow summary. We are already negative $307.71 in our budget right here. Like, this is insane. This never happens. And you can tell I didn't do a good job prepping for this because I'm going to have to pull this money out of savings. But I just want to highlight really quickly for you all the things that are more like kid dependent. So I'm going to highlight just for funsies, just for fun, I'm going to highlight what is kid dependent. I mean, look at this. This is all based off of our children. So right here, everything highlighted yellow is directly a kid's cost. Band dues, gifts for our son and party stuff for his birthday, tutoring for our kids, good music lessons, guitar and piano, and kids allowance. You could even say that, half of the groceries and even like half of, hair care is also related to kids. When people are like, are kids expensive even after daycare? Yes. I don't pay for daycare. I don't pay for childcare, but I do have this. Now, thankfully, some of these are just like 1 year costs or one-off costs, but still it's expensive. So those are our variable expenses. And right now where we stand, we are negative $307.71, but we're not done. Let's move over to savings. Now we do set aside money in a high yield savings account. I have it automatically go out every single month on the 6th. It's either the 4th or the 6th. I can't remember. It's the same place where our money goes that we set aside for our home taxes and insurance. So if you remember back over in fixed expenses, we have $1,000 going to taxes and insurance. That's going into a high yield savings account. In addition, we also have other money going into a high yield savings account, and it's actually $800. This is broken up into different buckets, or it has different purposes. Some of this money is going to set aside money for Christmas because we have a sinking sinking fund for Christmas. That way when December comes, we have money set aside for it. A new car. I mean, we only have like $1,000 in our new car fund, but at least it's something. A new car, vacation. I just started a band sinking fund. So that way next summer or next August, when band dues are here, we will have $1,200 saved. So $100 a month is going into band sinking fund. So we have different sinking funds, like for our HOA dues, all of that. And between those sinking funds, we're saving $800 a month. I don't have any money to put in my emergency fund this month. Usually I have extra money to be able to put into emergency fund, but that's not happening. We are setting aside $300 a month for our kids' college. We have a $529 for each of them. $150 goes into one account, $150 goes into the other. That's on an automatic draft. And then we also invest an extra $300 a month into a taxable brokerage account. We do our kind of like lump sum investing for our Roth IRAs and for my solo 401k at the end of the year. So that's not reflected in this budget, but we do invest $300 a month just into a regular taxable brokerage account that we can access at any time, but we're not planning to access it. Right now, we don't have any other savings goals. Let's see what the math is saying now. Now we are negative $1,707.71. We are over budget, but it's because of all those kid expenses. Going over to debt payments, my husband and I both have credit cards, but we pay them off in full every Friday. So we don't carry any other debt other than our mortgage, and then our credit cards we pay off in full. So they're paid off in full. So right now we don't have anything here. But if I do put something on a credit card and I pay it off every Friday, I log it here and I budget it as necessary, as needed. So all of that to say, let's look at the budget in full, and I'm going to talk about what we are going to do to fix this issue. Okay, you can see that we are over budget $1,707.71 for the month of August. This is insane. I'm not thrilled about it, but thankfully this isn't our everyday situation. And once again, most of that, all of it, honestly, all of it is because of these more one-time expenses that are coming in August. The tutoring for both of our kids, the birthday gifts for my son, and then band dues, which are brand new for us. So I set up a sinking fund for band dues for the future, but basically this is why we have money in savings, right? Like we have money in savings that we can pull over from savings to almost like pay ourselves to be able to help cover these costs. So we're not sitting here having to put this $1,700 on a credit card, thank goodness. Now you better believe I'm going to pay the band dues on a credit card for the points and then pay off the credit card, right? But we have money from savings to pull over for this purpose. And I usually reflect that right here in my income summary. So there's a section right here called transfer from savings. So I can see that I'm $1,700 kind of over budget. So I know that I need to transfer over $1,800. I really could do $1,700. No, I can't do $1,700. I'm going to transfer over $1,750 from savings to help cover the cost of this. Now, this money is money that we have intentionally set aside already. I'm not going to lie to you, some of it's coming from our emergency fund, but it is money that we have. We're not having to go into debt for this, which is one thing that is really important for me because I know what it's like to be in debt. It is so stressful. It is so overwhelming. I hate the feeling of owing other people money, which is why I do this, which is why I want to help you write a budget so that you can pay off your debt and keep your paycheck, keep your whole paycheck. Imagine if that whole paycheck came to you and you didn't have to give any of it away. Like, oh, I love that idea. But this is the budget my paycheck spreadsheet. This amount updates as you fill out the transactions log. So this amount will update. So will the category summary. We have this donut chart here for variable expenses. And then as I log my transactions, this chart will also update. It's just like a donut chart here for variable expenses for the spending. Like I said, the thing I love about this budget spreadsheet is I'm able to go into my transactions log. And as long as I'm logging my transactions and putting the category in there, which I do by hand, this does not do it automatically, these numbers update right here. So I can very easily see, okay, we have spent $1,000 at the grocery store and we have one more trip left. Here's how much we need to spend so that I I don't go over budget, because a lot of times people write a budget and they never actually look at the budget again. They don't track their spending. They just write it and say like, okay, let's hope it works. That's not what I want you to do. That's not how we reach our goals. So this is our family's real budget. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments. I'll link to another video that shares our budget before from the previous month, so that way you can kind of see the difference. And then of course, if you want this spreadsheet, this is a spreadsheet that I built. I'll link to it down in the description, and you can use the word YouTube as a coupon code to save $20 on it. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.